Mora. I have had Moras for so long, as have many people. They are probably one of the most popular knives in that $10 to $15 range, and for good reason. They have a really awesome sheath, a comfortable handle, a nice quality steel blade, and it comes from the factory wicked sharp. Full focus. However, I don't feel it is the best knife for the price. I think there's something better out there. And you can see this Mora has definitely had some use. There's some chips there in the blade, some rust down here. I think for the price, this is a much better knife. Now, it's not better in every way, but I think overall what you're getting is a better knife. And that is the Cold Steel Pendleton Light Hunter. This knife is awesome for the price. It really is, and I haven't found a better knife than it for that $15 price range. And I don't know the price exactly. They fluctuate. I get all my stuff off Amazon, and I paid $15 for this knife. I bought two of them, and this is the one that I haven't used as much. The other one's in some pack somewhere. And the reason why I like this knife more are there's a few reasons. First off, I love high carbon steel. In fact, all the knives that I make are high carbon steel. However, in this philosophy of use for these types of knives, it's kind of a stow away and forget it. I have these in my tackle box. I have these in my truck. It's not something that's going through a lot of use like the knives that I make are. And those, I'm constant attention, and I can reapply lubricants to make sure that they don't rust. Moras have rusted on me all over the place, and that's no fault of it. It's just the way I am using that knife. I'll apply grease to it. I found if I apply actually a heavy grease to it, something like an axle grease or something that's really tacky, that will preserve it really well. However, I don't like to have that if I'm going to try and use food prep with it. I don't want that on my knife. These knives, I think it's just a 420 stainless, but it's got really good edge retention, and it hasn't rusted on me to the same degree as a Mora. Now, this will rust for sure, without a doubt, but it is way more rust resistant. Another reason why I like this knife more is because look how fine that cutting edge is. It has, it's almost a saber ground, a flat grind on it. And the sharpening is just that secondary bevel on there. And I gotta say, yes, I can sharpen the Scandi grives, but dang, do I hate it. I really do. Some people are like, oh man, no, it's so much easier. Maybe for you. For me, I've been sharpening knives for a very long time. I'm making my own knives, and I can get them razor sharp. I can get these razor sharp, but you think about it, every single time you want to sharpen this knife, you have that much material to take off on both sides. That is a lot of material that you've got to move, as opposed to this knife where that secondary bevel on there is tiny, and that's all the metal you got to remove. So much easier for me to sharpen and to keep it sharp, especially out in the field. I can carry one of those little pencil sharpeners. I think it's made by, I don't forget who it's made by, but it's a sweet little pencil diamond rod that has a little container. You flip it out, a couple swipes on this, wham, wham, you are good to go. Versus this, you've got to sit there, slowly go. It's not just a quick wrist action, and you've got a nice sharp knife. Now, some things to like more about the Mora. The handle on the Mora, while hideous, I always have thought they're quite ugly, is surprisingly good. They fit the hand like a glove. They offer really excellent grip. It's it's a hard rubber, and that traction is really nice. And the sheath on the Mora is excellent. Again, kind of falls short in the aesthetics department. However, this knife is function over form. And so it's not the most important thing. Now you can see here from some use, full focus, it does have a slight, there you go, crack there from this type of motion right here. But overall, it's got really good retention. This thing's not coming out. It's cool. You can stack them together if you got multiple. It holds on the belt a lot better. You can remove it easily off the belt without having to undo your belt. This knife, the handle is not nearly as comfortable. I'm not really sure what they're going for with this. It's not a great fit. The bottom of the handle is fine. It's more of this shape that I have an issue with. My hand just feels like it's almost a little bit too big to really get a good purchase on there. And then when I do, the distance between this and the cutting edge is quite a bit more than the distance here and the cutting edge. I don't like to have a huge distance. Like if you see one of the knives that I design, it's that distance is, I like to have it right there. So that is a downside of this. Now what I've seen people do, I've yet to done just because I've got so many of my other knives that I make, but they'll cut this out with the Dremel because these both are not full tangs. They've got that little rat tail tang that comes in. But this is super easy to come in here with a Dremel this off, and then make your own awesome wooden one. I've seen people do that with both these and the Moras. And the sheath, again, is a super basic nylon sheath. You're going to have to remove your belt every time you want to put this in. The retention on it is good, but not excellent. Like, you can shake that out. But when it comes to knives, I'm mainly about the blade. And this handle isn't a detriment enough to make it so it's not usable. You can see the thickness of the knives are about the same. The blade length on the Mora, you're going to get about, a centimeter maybe. It's not much. Again, thickness the same, but really it's just the traditional grind is so much better to me than the Scandi. Also, the Scandi, it comes out wider earlier in the blade, which means something like food prep, when you want a really nice thin blade, this is going to slice through food so much more. Now, will this be stronger because you got more meat on there? Probably. Yeah, if you're going to baton wood with it, I guess this is probably going to be a stronger knife just because you've got more blade material there. This is a heavier knife. But I'm not batoning with these. That's not how I use my knives. And so this does everything I need it to do. Again, the Mora is a great knife. However, for that $15, if you're well-earned money, this is an easier knife to use. It cuts better, and it sharpens so much easier, and you get that added rust protection, which is nice for a knife like this, where I am stowing them away for potentially a couple years and never using them. I have this in my truck. I've probably used it once or twice because I usually have a pocket knife on me, but if I ever need a fixed blade, I know it's there. If I, for whatever reason, find an animal that I want to skin or something, this is going to be way better than a pocket knife. So, Mora Killer. Any others out there? I'm sure. Take care, guys.